Hello and welcome back everyone to this live demo session on SAP ABAP on HANA come S4 HANA technical training with me Anubhav on anubhavtrainings.com. In the next 40 hours of this journey, we will be learning about the core concepts of S4 HANA and ABAP on HANA. This training is designed for an absolute beginner in ABAP consultant who would want to venture into building CDS views and amazing Fury applications for their company in S4 HANA systems. In this demo session, I'll take you through the concept of who is this training for, a brief overview of this training, what can you expect in the next 40 hours of this training, our use case for the demo, followed by frequently asked questions along with question and answers. This is all what we will be looking at in this entire demo session. So let's begin. Before we start, my name is Anubhav and I have total 18 years of teaching experience in the field of SAP. I have 7 years of experience on SAP S4 HANA. I have worked extensively on building CDS views and Fury applications for multiple companies and different projects. This training is a real-time training with real-time examples and case studies to take you through the entire journey of S4 HANA. Let's try and understand who's this training for. So if you're working like John as a Scrum professional and want to understand the development estimate for HANA-based projects for Plan Tomorrow, this training is going to help you. If you're working like Jennifer, as most of us as an ABAP consultant in a company, want to embrace the change of this new technology of S4 HANA and would like to utilize the concept of ABAP with HANA to optimize your existing application and build beautiful new applications, this training is going to help you. If you're working like Karan, who is any SAP consultant working in any area of SAP, be it SAP MM, PP, FICO, as a technical consultant, this training will help you to build amazing Fury application on top of CDS views and also exploit the full potential of SAP HANA database. If you're working like David as a BW consultant and your company is asking you to utilize embedded analytics or consume CDS views in Analytics Cloud, this training is also going to help you. With the help of this module, you will be able to learn how to build amazing analytical views and consume these analytical views in analytic tools like RSRT or Analytics Cloud. What can you expect in the next 40 hours of this course? We will first start with introduction to HANA. We will let you introduce with the latest tools and technologies to get onboarded on a S4 HANA system like a web development tool on Eclipse or working with the concept related to ABAP and OOPS ABAP. We will also discuss how can you utilize the full potential of S4 HANA with the help of CDS views and build virtual data model, and also how can you migrate your custom code to S4 HANA. We will learn S4 HANA code conversion and virtual data models. You will be introduced with the latest ABAP syntax, SQL syntax, frameworks like POF, IDA, and fuzzy search. We will understand the broad architecture of HANA, including the basics of HANA, its architectural and how it makes difference for an ABAP consultant to work on HANA-based projects. We'll also introduce you how to use HANA Studio for doing data modeling and consume these data models in ABAP. Finally, you will learn end-to-end CDS view, EMDP, OData, and Fury apps, where you will be able to build amazing application with the help of CDS views annotations and put all the logic in HANA database. So, what is our plan for today? In today's session, I will start the development tool, so-called ABAP development tool on Eclipse. I will create our first CDS view just as a demonstration, annotate our CDS view with extra bit of information, build a service so that eventually we can use that service to create a Fury application, and then finally create a application using S4 HANA embedded analytics with analytic list page. Please note it's a demo session. So some parts of this demo may not be understood by you, but just try to understand the broad use case and concept. Of course, each of these topics have a dedicated unit in our training as and when we progress with our course. So what is our demo use case for today? In our today's demo use case, we will talk about inflation. We will have a demo use case which will showcase you developing a Fury list report application which utilizes the inflation data stored in our S4 HANA system and analyze the inflation trends across different countries. The purpose of this application, which we plan to develop today in this demo, is to let the user provide a comprehensive and interactive platform to explore inflation rates, identify patterns, and make data-driven decisions. So that will be our use case for today's episode. So let's go ahead and try to understand first what is CDS view, and then we will go deep dive inside this particular use case to build it in a live system. So I'm going to introduce now what is CDS view in a nutshell. So let's talk about CDS view. If CDS view is nothing but it's a CDS or CDS stands for core data and services. It is the new technique in S4HANA to build application. So core data and services are extension of OpenSQL in ABAP. So when it comes to an SAP system, you write most of the time queries to fetch the data in an optimum manner from their database. Instead of writing a query now, we will be writing a CDS. Then you may ask, Anubhav, what's the benefit? Because the benefit here is the CDS provides a semantically rich data model. Now this word is very important, semantically rich, which means it consists of something called annotations. So you will see it in a minute when I create a CDS view. We write lots of annotations which will help us to build our application, and our application will automatically react based on these annotations. So let's create a simple CDS view on top of our inflation data. So to begin with our use case, we will utilize this table which I've already created in my system for inflation data of multiple years of different countries. So it contains Asian countries with year 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 forecast data for different countries in Asian region. Different countries might include like Georgia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, China, India, Hong Kong, Mongolia, and so on and so forth. I will be utilizing this information with the inflation rate percentage to build a amazing application in the next 30 minutes. I will allow you to ask questions once I'm through with the demo. So let's go ahead and create our CDS view for that. So instead of writing a query, I'm going to create now a core data and service artifact called CDS view. So let's search for core data and services. Click on next, and I will provide here the name Z S4 HANA underscore inflation. So inflation CDS view. Next. And what SAP does in this tool is it provides me a beautiful template to choose from. I can choose a template to create my B. I select the template. It's the skeleton. So we are living in 21st century where the tools are becoming more and more powerful day by day. So here I would get an opportunity to basically generate the basic skeleton of a CDS view. So you can notice that the CDS view starts with @ This is what exactly I was talking in the slide, that CDS views are basically semantically rich data model. They provide annotations, and these annotations have special significance. Just like in a program, you write syntax which has special significance. Here, these annotations also plays a critical role. They will instruct the database as well as our user interface to drive the functionality in a certain way. So What happens when you activate as view? It creates a view inside your database. So database we will use here is the HANA database. So HANA is a in-memory database which we use. To read the data in an optimum manner from HANA, we create CDS view. So what will be the view which gets created in the HANA? That view name you need to give here in the first annotation. So computer is asking me, what will be the name of the view shall I create in HANA? So we usually put the same name out underscore. So now after activation, a view gets created in the database with this name. Then it has other annotations related to compare filter, preserve key, and authority checks, which we will discuss in our episode number 11 in detail. For time being, I'll just proceed with this basic skeleton. I will now see the syntax define view as select from your database table name. Wow. So it's just like a select query. So let's copy the database table name, which has the data, and I will just control space to include all the fields of my table. So this is my fields of all the fields of my database table from inflation data. So that's it. Congratulations. You just created your first CDS view. But that's not all. We need to now go ahead and specify what is exactly the important measure for the inflation data. So you know that this inflation number is an important measure or important KPI for the purpose of our business. So we need to come here and put a special annotation called default aggregation. And I can put here hashtag sum. This will confirm or it will mark the inflation number for a particular country as an important measure. Apart from that, we will also put another annotation to create a service. So we call it as OData publish equals to true. Now, what is this service or what is a OData service? So guys, when it comes to building applications, we would now want to build applications which will run on different devices like mobile phone, tablet, or desktop. So eventually you have something called a browser, just like you open Facebook, Twitter, they all run on browser. So inside a browser, we are going to run our application in the browser. And we do have the SAP system, which is in this case S4HANA. So we want to expose the data to the browser. Now, browser cannot fire direct select query to the S4HANA system to access this data. Now we need something called a web service. Yeah, we need a web service which can expose this data to the browser, and that is why we use OData. So OData is nothing but it's a web service which we can create quite easily to expose the data from our SAP system to the browser. And this is where our Fiori application runs. So if you are new to Fiori, don't worry. We will cover introduction of Fiori for you. It's the new UI technology, which is a successor of SAP GUI, WebDim Pro, and BSP. So without any prior knowledge of Fiori, you will all be able to build amazing applications towards the end of this training. So now we would need to create this service. So to create this service, we simply go back and put a annotation called OData publish equal to true. That's all. I will now activate, and we will also mark this view as of type view. So we mark it as a cube type. A cube is basically equivalent of a DSO in BW system. Basically, the purpose of the cube is to aggregate the data. Yeah. So these are the annotations we mark. And now what computer does, it generates a service automatically out of my CDS view. So you can actually go ahead and see the CDS view service over here. You can see this is the name of the service. I can copy. And now I can register this OData service in the system. To register this, we need to go to GUI and register this OData service in the system using a transaction code called /iwfnd/main service. This is the T code we can use to register our service. We click on add service and we register the service. So it's a one-time process. So by far, we have created this service and now I am just registering it. So once you register the service, now your data will be exposed over the internet, over the browser. Yes, you can also test the service by going to this Eclipse tool, and we have this OData exposure to click open, and that way you can also check and test your service quite easily and quickly. So you can see when I open, I have got my service which is showing me all the data. Yes, so I can just hit this data set and you can see all the data of inflation data is now exposed out on the browser, which means a application, a Fury application can consume this data. So just to quickly summarize what we did, step number one, we logged into our SAP system using a new tool called ADD. Its installation I will show you in the next class. Then we created a very simple CDS view, which is equivalent of a select query. We annotated the CDS view with annotation to expose OData service. Then we registered our OData service, and our uh, final step is to go ahead and create a application which can display this information to the user. So let me go ahead now, and I'm going to go to the next tool, which is called Business Application Studio tool. This tool is predominantly used to build Fury applications. So I will also show you how to set up this tool in your own system free of cost in our unit number 7. But for today, as it's a demo, I have already prepared my environment and connected this environment to my SAP system so that I can give you this end-to-end demo. So this is how the next tool or Business Application Studio tool look like, which is used to build Fury applications. So don't worry if you never heard about Fury, never worked on Fury. This training is designed in such a way that an absolute beginner can also build end-to-end Fury apps with us. So let's start creating an application using a template. A template is nothing but it's a skeleton which will automatically generate an application for us. So we want to build a Fury application, and now we can choose, I want to build a analytic this page Fury application. And at this point of time, system is asking us to choose the data source. As I mentioned, that the Business Application Studio tool is running independently of your SAP system, but now we need to connect this tool to our system to fetch the data from the service. As I mentioned just now, that the, the only way to expose data from your SAP system to the outside world is with the help of the services. So just now we created a service with the OData annotation, and I can consume now this particular service in the BAS tool, in the Business Application Studio tool. So I have already created this connection. I will also teach you how to do this connection as part of our training in unit number 10. So you all will be able to do practical exercises with the help of our end-to-end training. We'll paste the service name over here. And once the service name is picked up, you can see it's now available in the Business Application Studio tool. In our unit number 10, I will show you the connectivity of this BAS tool with S4 HANA system also. As I mentioned, it's a course designed for absolute beginner. We will be learning all these tools, their setup, their connectivity possibilities with our S4 system. We will move on now to the next step and choose our entity set. We want to build a table of type grid table. We do not allow multi-select. So you see all of this is part of a template. The template will automatically generate the entire application for us out of the box. So now I can just give the name of the project which I would like to create. Dashboard. We can specify the application title. Let's give it an inflation dashboard. And then we can click on finish button to get the application generated for us. As a result of that, a application will get created out of the box. And you see how easy it was to build your first Fiori application, which can run on all the devices, be it mobile, tablet, or desktop. Now you can see the application would have got generated, and we can open the project folder to see this generated application. So you see we get a message also to say open folder, yes. And you will see the generated application on the next refresh. There you go. So this is the generated application, and it's the time to test this app. For that, we need to press F1 key and open application info. The application info will allow you to perform multiple tasks in a fully automated way without writing a single line of code to quickly also test our app. So let's preview and start there. So without having any prior knowledge of SAP Fiori, you were able to create a Fiori app. So step 1, we open the dev tool. Step 2, we create CDS view. Step 3, we went ahead and created a OData service and registered the same. Step 4, we generated the Fiori app in the Business Application Studio. You can see now I am just going ahead to test my application. Just launching up the application over here. Yes. And we click the go button. Of course, you see there is nothing coming up because we didn't choose the columns we want to display. So I can just choose some columns to display the data. And you will see the data will pop up here without writing a select query. This is the inflation data of the country. Now I can notice that some of the labels are not okay. So we can fix this issue by adding annotations. In addition to that, I would like to display a chart of inflation over here over the years. Yes. To be able to do both of this, we can switch over back. And first of all, I will create a chart. So for that, again, we use a chart annotation. In school days, if you remember, we used to create chart. Every chart consists of x-axis and y-axis. On x-axis, we put category. And on y-axis, we put values. For example, if I want to plot a chart for the marks of a student, we put math, English, social science, and on y-axis, you will see the value or the score which they did. This category in SAP is called dimension, and this value in SAP is called measure. So I would now like to show the total inflation per country. So my country will be the dimension and my values will be the inflation. So let's do that. So I specify the dimension attributes. Dimension name is going to be the country. I can put the country subregion number. So let me also check back what gives me the country name. So it is the regional member. So that is correct. This is going to be my x-axis as a category. I specify that this itself is represented as a dimension. So regional member is my dimension property. I'll also specify measure. And here we specify the inflation as the measure. And we specify the measure attributes with the measure as inflation and role as x1 as a data point. So this will automatically print a chart. What will be the chart type? I want the chart type to be a column chart. I will explain all of these annotations in detail in unit number 13, 14, 15, and 16. But for time being, you can understand that we are plotting a chart. Also, we specify proper labels. So let's give the end user text label annotation and say this is the country name This is the year inflation was recorded. This is the inflation number itself. This is the sub-region. And finally, we have the country code. That will fix also the label issue on the application. I would like to also bring, when applications start, automatically the data displaying in the table. So we can add another annotation called line item with position 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So these will be my columns of the table, which will come automatically. That's it. That is why we call CDS as semantically rich data model. I can switch over back to the app and refresh. Since we have now added the annotations will take their effect on the Fury application. So literally zero coding knowledge required for Fury app. You can put everything in CDS and it will auto generate application code for you. Wow. Look at that. Now the labels are fixed. There is the country year, inflation, and sub-region. When you hit the go button, you will see a analytical report will appear with a chart. Wow. Cool. Now, the another interesting part, which is out of the box, is you can just go ahead and choose a country of your choice, and the system will filter the data in the table accordingly. You can also change the chart type at runtime. User can change that. You don't need to change the code for that. So I want to show a donut chart for all the Asian countries with their inflation. So I can notice the highest inflation is in Uzbekistan. Then we have Turkmenistan, then other countries. I would like to now filter the data based on a click. So basically this is called slicing and dicing. So if I'm interested to look at the total inflation year on year in Georgia, I can click Georgia and you can see it is showing me the inflation graph of Georgia, 3%, 5%, 5%, 10%, 12%, 6%, 4%. So that is the inflation chart of Georgia with the forecast. So this kind of slicing and dicing is possible with this kind of analytical report. Within 30 minutes of time, we could build such an amazing application. You can assume what will happen after you complete this 40 hour of training with us, with all the basics, of course. Having said that, thank you so much once again for joining this demo session. Let's move ahead with some of the FAQs asked by all of you in the past regarding this course. So the first question coming is, do I need to have prior knowledge of HANA to attend this training? And the answer is no. We will cover all the HANA foundation topics for you as part of this course out of the box. So if you are absolute beginner with HANA, you don't need to have any prior knowledge. How much of ABAP knowledge is required for this training on ABAP on HANA? So only basic ABAP knowledge, which includes data dictionary, internal table, basic syntax and function module is more than enough. If you still don't have ABAP knowledge, you can still attend this training because only 30% of this course topic require some ABAP experience or knowledge. Rest all the topics are as new as you are an ABAP developer. I am a BW or BI consultant. Can I learn ABAP on HANA? Answer is yes, very much. And you must learn S/4HANA embedded analytics and CDS views because to go forward in the future, all the analytics will be done with the help of CDS views. Companies are moving to S/4HANA. They are dumping their BW ECC combination and using one single system for both transactional and analytics. So it becomes extremely important for BW and BI consultants to also learn S/4HANA. How much deep knowledge of OOPS is required? Very basic knowledge what you studied in school or colleges, like what is a class, what is an interface. If you have that much knowledge, it is more than suffice enough to join this course. What about server access? So we can arrange a server access if you do not have a server from your company. I will guide you in one next session about the end-to-end experience of server. In case you don't have a server, you are an independent consultant, I will also guide you how can you get a server access. So that is my duty, and this is a topic for our next episode. Which version of S4 HANA and HANA are we going to use for this training? So we will be utilizing latest 2021 HANA 2.0 ABAP layer for learning this training. How much of this course we spend time on CDS view? So guys, almost 40% of the time of this training we will spend on CDS views and topics around CDS. Do I need to have prior OData experience? No, you don't need to have any OData experience at all in prior. I will provide you the complimentary session on basics of OData that will be part of this training. Can I also take this course in video mode if the timing doesn't suit me or I want to fast track my learning? Yes. So you can also go ahead and join our latest video mode training where you don't have to come and sit for live classes. You can conduct this training completely with your own pace and speed. So that is something called a video mode training you can also opt for. In case you miss a class, you will also be able to access the class after the session is recorded. We will publish the video recording of the session on our portal with you. What tools do we will be using in this training? So we will be using ABAP development tool on Eclipse, and the next class I will show you how to set up this tool free in your training. We will also use Business Application Studio to build Fiori apps. If you are new to Fiori, don't worry. I will be covering everything end-to-end regarding Fiori app with you as part of this course. Last but not very important, how to join this training. To join this training, you have to send us an email on contact@anubhavtrainings.com. That is our official email ID to send us an email, and we will signing you up for this training on ABAP on HANA. With that, thank you so much for joining and attending this demo session today. Please feel free to contact us at contact@anubhavtrainings.com. I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seems to have. What a sentence. Having said that, thank you so much. See you in the next episode, which is tomorrow same time. Have a nice day. Goodbye.